Hi, this is Hamsika, and welcome to Stories with Swansea Presents The Real Deal, where we discuss and dissect everyday situations that influence and shape our lives. Whether it's the unspoken impacts of generational trauma, challenging the expectations of society, or exploring practical ways to bring more peace, balance, and joy into our daily existence. We share stories and lived experiences that are raw, heartfelt, and will leave you with questions. So, if you're looking for a podcast that feels like chatting with a friend about the real, relatable parts of life, you have come to the right place. Let's cut through the noise and get straight to the matter with no filters and sugarcoating. Because this isn't a fictional deal, it is the real deal. Hello. Welcome, guys. Episode 3 of the Real Deal podcast. I am so excited to be back again. To everyone who have come back to listen to my third episode, thank you so much. And if you're listening to me for the first time, I highly recommend you to listen to my first 2 episodes so you know what I'm talking about in this episode 3, because this is the intro series that's going on where I am going to be talking about myself and my life, who I was, like what happened, who I am now. And in the next episode, we are also going to talk about some of the biggest takeaways that I've had in life so far. Um, so let's get started with the episode. If you've watched episode 1 and 2, you know what we're going to talk about in episode 3. But if you are tuning in for the first time, then you don't know what episode 3 is about. So, episode 3 is about who am I. So, you listen to me talking about who was I, then you listen to me talking about my big move to Australia, and today I'm going to talk about who am I. So, let's get started. Um, while talking to you guys in episode 2, I mentioned a lot about my journey, and um, a lot of it resulted in me actually going into clinical depression. So I got diagnosed with clinical depression. For 2 years, I had a lot of struggle coming out of it, and this was the second time that I got diagnosed. It was, I think, I was 17, like in between 17 and 18 when I got diagnosed the first time. I didn't get treated back then. A result of that, and a few more like traumas leading into depression again. Um, it kind of was not an easy recovery for me because I had to undergo a lot of therapy, a lot of introspection. Um, it wasn't very pleasant. So I have a whole like series of episodes that I have planned where I'll be talking about my depression journey and mental health in general. Because post that, my understanding of mental health, the way I look at people struggling with mental health, everything like rapidly changed because I know what I went through. So I know a lot of people who would be going through the same. So my outlook changed totally. And like I'm so looking forward to talking about a lot of those topics as well. But if we like, to jump back to who I am now. So post that stint, I was like I had not opened up to anyone that I'm going through depression or whatever. It was like only a couple of friends who knew about it and my immediate family. No one else knew. So it was a bit of a struggle for me to act I'm fine when I'm actually not. That was actually one of the mistakes that I also did because I had to like step back and like take a break from people, take a break from everything that was going on just to focus on my health. But that is something that I didn't do. Anyone who has gone through depression knows how hard it is to, like, even wake up every day and to actually um, make sense of things around you. So at that time, I just, I kind of felt like if I open up to anyone, all I would probably get is a few laughters, people not taking me seriously, people thinking I'm just, trying to act fancy or whatever by using those terms. I didn't feel like I could trust anyone and open up about everything that I was going through. I was in a very vulnerable state, right? So you need to like really like open up to people whom you can completely trust that they're not going to go and tell anyone else or discuss about it or make an issue out of it, because that is something that I didn't want. And for someone who has always thought about what people think of me at that stage of time, I just didn't want to open up to anyone. So I was acting like I was totally fine when I actually wasn't. So anyone who has done the same thing, when you have acted or when you have put on a face just to make sure no one else gets to know what you're going through, you know how much of your energy goes in that whole like I'm fine, nothing has happened to me, to put up that face, right? Like you're physically and mentally, like you're drained, like completely drained. That's exactly how I was. So post that stint, I finally decided I am going to write a blog about it, and I was very very skeptical what to write, what not to write. Of course, you cannot like say anything and everything. So I did write about a lot of those things, and then I sat with my husband. We did like a read through. He suggested me what I can probably change, or what I can add, what I can remove. So we did like a proofreading, and I just wanted that support. Like from my family. I sent it to my mom and dad as well. Like so, Appa and Amma read it as well. Like I know that, like, in episode one, I was telling that I am not just me. I am attached to a lot of other people. So for me, it's very important to make sure I have their consent when I'm using their names. Like I'm giving examples of the scenarios when all of us are involved in my blog post, right? So I made sure my husband has read the whole thing. I made sure my mom and dad have read the whole thing. My brother read the whole thing, and then I finally posted. And I honestly didn't expect the reaction that I actually received. So two extremes happened, right? So one was like I was like wowed by some of the responses that I received, because I never in my wildest dreams imagined the amount of support that I received. Like I never thought people would come out and support me. Like there are people who I'm not even in contact with. Like the last I spoke to them was probably during my school days, and they all came in contact with me. Like somehow they felt like they could open up to me. They started sharing their things, and they kind of felt a very safe uh, space with me. So, and then I wrote my second blog post as well. And then I wrote my third blog post as well, which spoke about Archie, my panic attacks, how he helped me, and all those things. So, um, when I dare to like come out and talk about it, a lot of things changed. A lot of like equations changed as well that I had with people. I had a few broken friendships. Like the amount of grief that it brought is just immense. All your like adult life in Australia or in wherever, like I have known a few people to be there for me every single stage, who have helped me, whom I have helped, whom I have supported. Like suddenly, like walk away from your life, saying reasons like you were a fake person, so you were acting like someone that you weren't, so we cannot trust you anymore. um and things like, and it was more to do with, you never told us what you were going through, so you never chose us to share what you were going through. So it was more like an ego thing for a few of them. And as a result of which there were a lot of broken friendships. So who am I? The person that I have become now is also a result of these broken friendships that happened after my stint with depression. Some people just like stepped back. They didn't want to be associated with me anymore. Like for me, if someone in my friend circle writes a post talking about their mental health journey, in my wildest dreams as well, I cannot imagine walking away from that person without like having a conversation with them, without sitting with them and asking them how they are doing or whatever. But every person is different. Like for some people it was literally like an ego thing, that how dare you kept this away from us, how dare you didn't even share this with us. Anyone who knows me closely also knows that I actually give a lot of value to friendship and my friends. I put in a lot of effort to stay in touch with people, right? Like throughout the year I'm doing something or the other for someone or the other, and without any expectations. I'm not expecting anyone to do the same thing for me. a lot of my close friends don't even remember my birthday. They don't even know my anniversary. But I know that I will always put that effort to remember their birthdays, to remember their anniversaries, to do things for them. I'm not expecting anything back. And even if no one does anything like to me on my birthday, I still end up doing something or the other for them the year after or whenever I get a chance. So for me, there's no like give and take in those things. I do it because I like to do it. Not everyone is like me, and that is totally fine, you know. But I always like to put that extra effort to with all my friends because I really believe in the system of friendship. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm like the best friend and one could have for or whatever. Everyone has their own, bad side and good side, but who sticks with you with both of these things are the ones that you actually will cherish. So these broken friendships resulted in me kind of being so aware of who talking to, who I'm sharing things with. When your close friends leave you for no reason, you kind of start doubting everyone else. It's like when they couldn't understand why I did whatever I did, how can any of these people understand? But I was surprised how a lot of people who came to me, spoke to me about everything that I went through, whatever, they were not even my close friends. I kind of felt like I attracted both positive support and negative that made a huge impact in the kind of person that I've become now. When all this was going through, I remember one of the girls I know whom I met during a short movie shoot. She messaged me and she was like, I'm doing this pageant and do you want to apply for it? And I'm like, what are you even talking about? A pageant and me? like like it was just such a shocker for me. And then I spoke to my husband and I'm like, she's asking me if I want to, apply for a pageant because she is also planning to apply. And then he's like, yeah, just why don't you go for it? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it's a pageant, it's a national level pageant, right? Like, I don't know anything about pageant. Like, my knowledge is zero when it comes to any of these things. Fashion, modeling, ramp walk. I don't have any experience in any of this. Like, the ones that we did is all like back in my school days or college days. But everyone does that. It's not like I was extremely talented in that or whatever. So I had zero confidence. And first of all, I didn't even know, first of all, that I am going to be selected or not. But to even think of applying itself, I took so long to even decide that I am okay, I'm going to go and apply. Finally did. I applied and a few months later I got a call. I had my phone interview and then later on down the line I got to know that I'm selected. And that for me, Australia Galaxy pageant was one of the life changing things that happened. The amount of confidence that it brought back within me is just like immense. Like I kind of felt like I was a very different person before AGP and I'm a different person after AGP. So it has played a huge, huge role. Like I never in my wildest dreams imagined I would enter a pageantry and then that would change so many things for me. It would change so many of my perspectives. I would learn so many things like throughout that journey. And it was not easy. Like the you're representing your state at a national level. So I mean, like even to talk about it, I'm getting goosebumps because for me that's how it was. I'm like, oh my god, it's not like I was the only one representing my state. There were other girls, but still, like me coming from India into a country slash continent, Australia, and then getting to represent a state in Australia at the national level, it's not a joke. Like the amount of learning that I had throughout that journey was, I don't have words to explain, right? Like you know how you have to go and plan for your appearances. Like you have to wear your crown, you have to wear your sash, you have to go and network with people, you have to be in the public eye, like you have to go and volunteer. I learned so much about volunteering. I learned so much about so many organizations. Like, for one of the appearances, I went to a community center where we cooked, like in a commercial kitchen, we cooked food for a lot of elderly people who don't have so much money to look after themselves. It's like a community service, it's like a community lunch, it's a free lunch. The amount of happiness that it gave me, like I was just standing there serving everyone, all the elders were coming back one after the other, and they were like, so while we were serving, I was wearing my crown and sash because I couldn't wear it when we were cooking. It's obviously, dangerous while cooking. So I was standing there with my crown and sash wearing, and I was like serving food to all these elders, and they were like just standing there and having a chat and like, oh, this is so sparkly, you look so good, what do you do? The amount of conversations that I had, the happiness that I saw on their face, and them coming and saying, oh, the food was delicious, thank you for giving us food, looking after us, for, like, looking after one of our meals, sponsoring one of our meals, or things like that. It just gave me, like, I don't know what words I can use. It was too beautiful to go through something like that. And not just that, there are so many appearances like that I did. Be it fundraising, coming up with ideas, then deciding what outfit you're going to wear for different routes. Everything is so new to me. I don't know anything about any of these fashion things, like what works in passions, what doesn't work. I had no idea. I had no idea how to like even like properly walk to the rap. And then I did, of course, like take 4 coaching classes to how to walk. And then you have your interview where you have to answer questions, and these are not like, you know like you can imagine how it is for pageants. And the the biggest thing for me was, they had a swimwear round, and I had never ever worn one in my life. And for me to be like able to not just wear it, but then, like, I remember when I went, so with their swimwear round, so they have it in a closed room, like, with the judges sitting, and then it's just you and the judges in that entire room, right? So we have to walk in, and then we have to like come to the center of the room and then do our formation and whatever that, like, we want to present in front of the judges. I remember I had butterflies throughout because, first of all, I was wearing that swimwear for the first time, and I'm stepping out in public. Even though we were in a hotel accommodation, you're still out. Like, so many people can see you. It's not just like you are in that entire hotel, right? So many delegates are there, and there are like public is there. And then you go into the room where the judges are sitting, and then you have to walk in front of them. So, like, I was so nervous. I had so many butterflies in my tummy. But the moment I entered that room, I kind of felt so empowered. And I just went and took the center stage. And the moment I started walking, I felt like I'm just throwing away all the judgmental uncles and aunties and whatever, whoever was there, about whom I was scared that they're going to judge me for wearing a swimwear. I was just throwing them out. I felt so empowered to literally just walk. I just had smiles when I was doing that. And then there was an option to do like a swimwear parade for the final night in front of another panel of judges and audience. So this time it was not like within a room where it's just 3 judges. There are external judges, right? And there is an actual audience sitting, like hundreds of people sitting, and in front of them I had to walk in swimwear. I had to do a swimwear parade. I was like so pumped when I came back from my swimwear judging round. Like in my head, I was just so excited and so happy that I finally did it. Like that was like the highest level of stepping out of comfort zone for me, and attempting something for the very first time. Um, and when I actually walked to that amazing music on stage with all the lights, with audience cheering, judges like literally just sitting there and looking at us and cheering us. And in the side we have all our sash sisters standing there and cheering each other. That was one of the best moments for me when I actually walked the ramp on the finals night in front of the audience and judges. Like I I never like felt like I could pull it off. The Like for someone like me who is an overthinker and who is also someone very critical about themselves. For me, like all the time, I was only thinking that I'm going to go and fall on the stage. Something is going to happen, and I'm going to trip on, or like, because I'm not used to walking in heels. I can't walk in heels. Like, I don't know how people do it. Like, I just feel so amazed. I'm just not the kind of person who walks in heels. I like my shoes. I like my sneakers. I like my, sandals, but not heels. I don't have that much practice, and I don't know how to walk. So it was so challenging in everything that I was doing. And Australia Galaxy pageant was a life changing decision for me. And I'm so glad that I did it. And I'm so thankful to my friend who actually, messaged me and asked me if I could, if I want to apply. Um, and she was my roommate as well, so we both were roommates over there. So it was such a fun thing that I did, and as well learned so much. I literally had my life lessons out of this whole pageant experience, and I'm just so grateful, super grateful for that opportunity, for being selected, for having for having a chance to represent my state. And I even won that, like, Mrs. Charity for the 2023 batch, because I raised the highest amount of I did the highest like fundraising amount for my category. So, like, it was surreal. Like, what an absolutely beautiful experience. And I remember when the finals happened, when the winner was announced, when the queen was actually crowned and everything. When we were exiting the stage, I don't know, like, suddenly I felt like, oh my god, is this all over? For the past 8 months, all the hard work that I did, I don't know anything about makeup. Now I'm a little better. I had zero knowledge about makeup back then. I sat, watched 100,000 YouTube videos. Like, the makeup artist I worked with, I asked them for tips, and somehow I learned something. I had zero knowledge about skincare. I learned so much about skincare, and now I cannot function without doing my skincare routine now. I just cannot. Learned so much about taking care of your hair. I learned so much about self love, prioritizing myself, looking after myself, listening to what my body actually wants, taking that rest, like so many things. And also, like, when you're working with people with similar energy, you kind of automatically get that push to do something amazing, to do something nice. And my social media game was not even on, but like, I had a private profile. And then I created a public profile because you have to start posting publicly. You are whether you want it or not, you're in the public eye. And for me, who always had this issue of being in the spotlight and not, like, actually liking it, um it was a bit of a challenge to put myself out there. In, like, again, even during that process, I was like, oh my god, what are people going to think, that I'm like putting so many posts. And when I used to go for my appearances, I would be like, oh my god, like, in front of so many people, I have to wear my crown, I have to wear my sash. I, like, it's like everyone are going to see me. So I was getting very petrified, like, oh my god, I'm attracting attention that probably, like, I would never want. Um, but now I've, like, grown out of it. I'm totally, like, fine if someone wants to give me attention. Like, I'll happily accept. Like, okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you for recognizing. Thank you for asking. So I've started taking it in a positive way. So AGP, like, really, like, played a massive role in my transformation. I started reflecting back on the things, my beliefs, my value system. What is it that I stand for? I started asking questions that I never asked myself before. I started working on myself so much throughout this process, and now I kind of feel like I have such an amazing understanding of my actual personality. Sometimes when someone asks me to explain, right, like, I don't have words. I don't know how to explain it to people as to what kind of a person have I become now. But I know within me the amount of transformation that I have had, like the person that I was to the person that I am, it's not linked in any way, right? Um, a huge growth, huge growth, and also I learned how to stand up for myself, especially after a lot of, as I mentioned about, broken friendships, people saying nasty things to me and everything. The more I started accepting my story, the more I started sharing it out, the more vocal I was about all these things, the more I started feeling like nothing can, like, break me now, because I'm just so open and frank. I'm not going to mince my words now. I'm not a rebel. I'm not someone who likes confrontation, but I also learned that I don't have to hide my feelings anymore. Like, I can just openly talk about it. Like, today, anyone can come to me, like even a random person who I've never met in life, I can still strike a conversation with them about whatever I've gone through in life. I was never that person who could do it before. Like, I don't even know this person. Why am I even, sharing anything with him or her? That would be my reaction. But I'm totally fine now, because I have accepted my story. I have accepted the way I am. I have understood why I was whatever I was. I understood why things happened to me, whatever happened. So I started getting answers to a lot of things, to a lot of my behavior patterns, when I started doing a lot of introspection during therapy. So that resulted in me, like, becoming a person who I am now. I can have an open conversation with anyone about any topic without hesitation. Like, there is no stigma, there is no um like second thoughts as to what can be said, what cannot be said, or etc. The other big thing that I am now is I'm all about self love. I have started like really taking care of myself, about my feelings, about what I like physically like want to do to my body, to get that rest, to get that nourishment, to get that like treatments, be it like skin treatments, hair treatments. I've really started embracing myself for who I am. Of course, it's a work in progress. Nothing can change overnight. Whatever I'm saying now, it's not like it's an overnight change for me. It has taken time, and some of them are still taking time. There is no like I keep saying this thing that you cannot unlearn so many things that you have learned throughout your life that easily. It will take time. It has taken me 30 plus years to realize what I want or who I am. So it is going to take me further more years to, actually rebuild myself and become a version of myself that I feel like that's probably my best version. That is the version that I would like to live with the rest of my life. Of course, maturity comes with more experiences, more like, as you grow, as you age. But still, I feel like I am I'm getting there to towards the person that I want to be. Like, with a lot of these experiences, right? Like, now for me, I cannot take any shit from people anymore. Like, it just it's an instant reaction for me at times. I As I said, I'm not someone who can be rude and say, like, or use bad words, cuss words, say anything back in a rude way. All my like uh I kind of sometimes call myself over dramatic, because I'm very animated. Like, if I'm happy, sad, or whatever it is, like, you will see me doing a lot of actions. Like, I'll go like this. I'm like, how dare you? Like, it just comes to me naturally. It's not like I'm trying to put up an act, but like, my basic nature itself is a little dramatic. Now I don't take shit from people. There have been times where I've still done it, but at least I didn't react the way that I used to react previously. As I said, it's a work in progress. I have started standing up for myself now. Baby steps. I will reach wherever I have to. I have like started saying no, which I never used to do it before. I am putting my boundaries wherever I have to. So I have that peace of mind that someone is not going to just come and take advantage of of me or of my friendship, etc. So I have put up those boundaries as well. And the other major thing for me now is I've become so independent that I feel like even if I don't have anybody, I can still live my life. Like, I've become that independent. Even when I had to go to Sydney for one of my appearances, like, I had an interview in a radio station. So I had to go to Sydney for that. And I took my car. And I was like, because you're traveling solo to Sydney, I think you should also try traveling solo to the airport because it's way too far. It's more than 100 kilometers where the airport is from, where we live. Because as I said, Australia is not just a country, it's a continent. So it's massive, it's huge. Wherever you have, like, if you have to go from one place to another, it will take you so much time and so many kilometers. So I left alone from home. I went to the airport. I parked my car in the long-term parking. I took the bus to the main, terminal. I checked in. I went alone. I did my interview. My interview was in the afternoon. I reached Sydney in the morning. So I was like, exploring the city alone. Like I was going here and there alone. I was just sitting in the park, listening to music, going to a restaurant alone, and having food. And then I finished my interview. And then I met my friends, and then I came back to Melbourne. I took the car from the long term parking and I came back home. Like, no pickup, no drop, nothing. I managed everything on my own. So it just made me so happy when I actually came back. Initially, I was not ready. I was very scared to do it, especially like going to the airport, parking, that, this, and all. But now, if I think of it, I'm like, if I have to do it again, I'm going to do it. What's so what? Like I've become so independent. Like, you tell me anything, I'm okay to do it. There are a few things that I'm learning because, like, the financial side of things, even though I know a few things, it's not like I do it firsthand. It's my husband who manages a few things, but like I'm aware of it, right? I know what it is. It's just that I have not done any of it. But at least I'm glad that I'm aware of it now, and I'm taking those steps to be as independent as I can, because that is very, very important to, have that confidence boost in you. Because when you step out, if you're in, like, if you want to do something in your creative field, you always have to kind of, I feel like these are all life skills, right, that I'm learning, or I have learned, and I've adapted. So every incident, every experience that I had made me um, become the person that I am now. It's because of all those good and bad things that has happened. So I'm so much more confident now. So much more relaxed as well. I'm not doing 100,000 things at the same time. I'm taking my time. I'm relaxed. Um, like if I'm working on one thing and not 100,000 things, right? I'm taking so much care of myself. Like I'm looking after myself really well. I've learned so many skills, be it skincare, hair care, makeup, hairstyles. Of course, it's not like I know anything and everything about them. It's um like, again, there's so many things to still learn. It's a work in progress, but if I have to, like, like, quickly summarize who I am now, probably I would say someone who's more like self-aware of what she needs, what she wants, what she can do, what she can't do. Someone who has set boundaries with people, someone who, like, stands up for herself, someone who is learning to give it back to people, someone who has become so independent, wants to become, like, very independent, um, who has learned so much about self-love and is just enjoying that phase of self-love. Like, I'm taking things slow and also taking things one at a time, and I'm putting in so much work. I'm doing so many things to work on myself, to have that peace of mind, to have those open conversations, and someone who's not scared to talk about anything. Now, like, don't carry any stigmas in my head anymore to, share my feelings about certain topics. So I have a lot more clarity now. So, yeah, these are the main things that have changed, and this is who I am now. So, in the next episode, we're going to talk about some of my biggest takeaways in life, based on my experiences throughout. And further to that, we are going to start um, actually delving into, topics, and I'll slowly start having guests over as well, where we discuss a lot of things and have fun. I will be bringing back like my game segment, which I did in one of my previous interview shows. So I am just so looking forward to having a few guests on the show where we talk relatable content, and I'm eager to bring those conversations to you guys. So until then, you guys take care, and thank you again for listening to me, for considering the podcast worth giving it a try. Because I know there's like, hundreds and thousands of podcasts. So, along with your other like playlist, if you have just stopped by to listen to me, I feel very grateful, and I feel really happy that I at least made you stop and listen to what I have to say. So, thank you so much for all the encouragement. And I will be back next week with my final episode on the intro series, and then we'll start with our actual the topics, because this ain't a fictional deal, it is the real deal. See you next week. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It truly means a lot to me to know that there are supportive listeners out there who appreciate the sharing of relatable thoughts and experiences. If you liked and related to what you listened to today, let me know in the comments. And also, please support by following, rating, and sharing the podcast on Spotify and YouTube. The related links are all in the description. Let's have a chat again next week. Until then, please make sure to take care of yourself so you can take care of others.